Don't forget to go to ashkicking.com for pound the best home health and beauty fragrance products.
Am I supposed to do it?
You can do whatever, you can say whatever's on your mind. No, you can say it again.
Okay. Hey guys, it's Kirsty Maciel and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm about to say.
Little Charles.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Well, ever since Canelo Alvarez, he tested positive for clenbuterol, a PED drug banned substance that actually preserves muscle while burning fat, and he claimed that it was in his meat that he ate when he was in Mexico. He's claiming it was MC, meat contamination. Gennady Golovkin is not buying it. Gennady Golovkin is really upset and bothered that Canelo Alvarez would fail a drug test, especially in a fight at this magnitude. Like I said before, Golovkin is not buying the meat contamination excuse. He's not going for the low levels, the low traces of clenbuterol in Canelo's system. He's not buying any of that. Gennady Golovkin, he believes that Canelo Alvarez and his people, they were fully aware of the problem in Mexico when it came to meat contamination. And he feels that Canelo and his team are responsible for taking the precautionary measures to make sure that Canelo Alvarez is not eating contaminated meat that will coincidentally actually benefit Canelo and give him a performance-enhancing advantage in a fight against Gennady Golovkin. Now, before I read exactly what Canelo Alvarez said, I think it's very important to note, because you have a lot of very emotionally attached Canelo Alvarez fans, and they're saying, why are you guys reporting this news? Why are so many people making videos about it, writing articles about it? I want you guys to understand, this article right here, this interview that Gennady Golovkin did, he did this interview with ESPN Deportes, okay? Now, for those of you guys who aren't too familiar with ESPN Deportes, of course it's ESPN, but this is just a sister network that is aimed towards the Hispanic, Spanish-speaking population. They have studios all around the country, and they also have a studio in Mexico City. And this is the network that interviewed Gennady Golovkin about this matter and reported this news, okay? So with that being said, let me go ahead and quote exactly what Canelo said to ESPN Deportes. Quote, "If it was meat or milk or food, is another story. The commission told us that he tested positive and it's very bad. But I think it's not just a meat problem. It's not just his problem. It's a problem with his whole team. If they are professional, they must understand and know what they eat." His position: "It is not a problem of the meat. He looks very bad right now. Many people see him as something negative for the sport. It is a problem of his team." End quote. So there you have it. Gennady Golovkin, he is not buying the Canelo Alvarez failing 2 tests and then testing negative, because for those of you guys who don't know, after Canelo tested positive in his first 2 tests on February 17th and February 20th, more recently, he's passed the test and he's tested negative for clenbuterol. But Gennady Golovkin is not buying it. Gennady Golovkin, he believes that Canelo Alvarez and his team, they are fully responsible, and this was extremely unprofessional on their part. And this, like I told you guys in my last video about this story, this puts Canelo Alvarez in a very bad situation, because you can almost argue that he's in a lose-lose situation now. Because if Canelo goes in there and he wins this fight, especially if he goes in there and he dominates Golovkin, what do you think fans are going to say about this clenbuterol drug test? What do you think they're going to say? It's obvious what they're going to say. If Golovkin is already upset that Canelo Alvarez failed a test for a banned PED substance before the fight, how do you think he's going to feel after the fight if he were to lose? So this situation, it really stirs up some new controversy, and now Canelo Alvarez is walking around with a cloud over his head. I mean, it wouldn't be bad if Canelo tested positive for like marijuana or something like that. You know, a drug that doesn't give you a serious advantage that you could actually use very well in a fight against Gennady Golovkin. I mean, just think about the coincidental convenience of the actual drug that happens to be in this contaminated meat. It happens to be a drug that works perfectly for a fighter that has to lose a whole bunch of weight while preserving muscle. I mean, just imagine if there was an athlete that has stamina issues, right? But coincidentally, he has stamina issues and he tests positive for EPO, which is a performance-enhancing drug that increases your stamina. But the athlete's defense is, that must have been in the contaminated meat that I ate. Oh, and on top of that, it was very, very small traces of this EPO drug. How do you guys think that news will be received? So I'm not here to say if Canelo Alvarez, if he did this on purpose, intentionally, unintentionally. All I'm telling you guys is he failed this test, and Gennady Golovkin is not buying the meat contamination excuse. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. What's going on, y'all? Brooklyn, New York. It's going down. We out here for the Wilder versus Ortiz fight. It should be a great fight. Once again, I'm loving it out here in Brooklyn, New York, from Las Vegas, Long Beach to Brooklyn. This is how we do it. On to the next one, y'all.